All right, good morning. I'm going to start to preface this by saying I did not plant any of those questions for Justin and Gavin, but they did a beautiful job introducing what our company is here to represent. So thank you, Justin, thank you, Gavin. I know you're all navigating very difficult, very relevant technologies, and we're here today in this room to discuss things that are important, that are innovative, that are moving at speeds, like they said, that are faster than we've ever seen. And it's a historical moment, but it's a moment that I think we can all share some pride in. So I am a principal solutions architect or a principal solutions engineer at Valiantys Federal. I've been in the industry for about 20 years. Myself, I am not in the military, but our company represents a lot of active and veterans. We are currently not listed as a small business, but we are very many, the characteristics, the size, but we have an integrated network of teaming. So I'm going to get started with introduction of my topic. So I'm not really going to spend too much time explaining what we do. I will highlight it. I will encourage questions, because that is the number one question: what do you do? But for the purposes of Gavin and Justin, they said, who are those people that are helping you integrate? Who are those people who are helping you innovate? How do you integrate systems of work and technology? How do you do it at scale? That is exactly what we do. That is exactly what we represent. But that landscape is so vast that it's hard to really kind of distill it down. So I've brought together in my career kind of a theme that I'm seeing in my day-to-day, my personal life, my work life. And I think that, right now we're looking at speed, innovation. So I'm calling this beyond the baseline. How do we really support your mission? And I think there's a simple formula, and I've seen that reflected today in many of the talks, and especially yesterday as well. So this is our company. We say we do solutions for every team. We support the work that's hidden behind the work that's important. We do represent a platinum partnership with Atlassian. We're also a partner with GitLab, with AWS. There's a variety of vendors that we partner with. And this service catalog, I know it's probably a lot of words. It's hard for you to see. I do have copies of what we do, but just to kind of put in pillars, you've heard scaled agile, you've heard Scrum, you've heard SAFe. Ways of working, we help you implement, we help you train, we help you integrate your systems. ITSM, or Enterprise Service Management, if you have a cell phone with you, a laptop that your IT issued to you or is monitoring or is pushing software, we have the solutions that help them manage that, track it, do the licensing, respond to your questions for, hey, that last update broke, my browser, or I can't open this software. All of those things are integral to every single business in this organization. If you got onboarded with HR, if you have questions, if you have a customer asking you for help or assistance or research, that is a system of work that we work with. And then from that, we help secure data, move data, desegregate, segregate, sanitize. We work with data securely, compliant, innovative, federated. So if you've got cloud, you have onshore in your room, the building, which I have worked, where we had the entire upper floor was all servers. If you've got that type of situation, we can help you navigate it. So we also do hosting. So that's kind of my pitch there. So I'm going to start with kind of highlighting some of the things from yesterday that, again, I did not plant that. I thought it was just beautiful, that's kind of the sentiment that I wanted to bring to you. How do we distill down what is our mission? Why are we here? But what project are you representing? Is it a company? Is it an industry? Is it an agency? All of those things that you're looking for. In my day-to-day, I do RFIs, RFPs, RFQs. I've got lots of gray hairs from that, lots of time, but they're important because they're avenues of procurement. They're avenues of legal contracts. They are teaming agreements to get us at the same place, the same time, on the same page. But when it comes down to it, that's a lot of technical jargon. It's a lot of buttons to click. It's a lot of minutia and things that, honestly, some people don't ever read. But if you give your project, your mission, your cry for help, your sense of urgency, a mission statement that you can distill down into a mantra, a war cry, 3 words or less, but it speaks to your culture. It speaks to your why. Jester said that so beautifully yesterday, and he gave some really great and poignant stories about people's why and how important it is, to say that you're going to give your life for your why. I mean, we're here to say we are protecting life, liberty, we're protecting our missions, we're protecting our country. I don't take that lightly. So I'm going to talk about how do you really identify that formula of finding your why when we're talking about quantum physics or a fence that had a name that I couldn't even write down. I'm here to help you find those words, those communication tools, and design the actual systems or the ways of working that get that fence to you faster, quicker, smarter, like they said, but for us, we do it in a compliant, secure, mission-ready way. So with that, I'm bringing forward X Factor. So what is that secret sauce? And I'm gonna tell you, in this industry, in this day and age, being in this, in IT for 20 years, a background in science and psychology, if you would guess, I really love research. But people, networking, the human nature of what we do is very relevant and poignant and important, and it's what's going to carry you forward. And it's not about the fact that quantum physics is complicated. It's necessary, it's needed. We have to give them the tools. We have to give them a system of work. We have to do it in a way that they're going to do it well. They're not going to kind of balk or bolster or kind of do a mutiny if you mess with it, because I've seen that happen too. If you mess with their formulas, it's not good. So I'm here to kind of help you find, what's the human element of what you're doing? And it's not to say it's a marketing ploy. It's not to say it's simple or easy. It's to say it's hard. So with that, I bring up, again, I don't think y'all can read it, but you're all familiar with John F. Kennedy. And he started, not necessarily started, but he gave the call to action, the call to procurement, to legal, to legislation that we all kind of recognize and we're living today. Because we are going, 70 years later, 50 years later, we're trying to go back to orbiting the moon. We're trying to go back to landing on the moon. We're trying to go back to operating on the moon. We are supporting customers that are part of that mission. We are also supporting customers that are giving you your cell phones and your laptops, or they're designing your jewelry, or they're giving you medical equipment. We do the full gamut, but our business focuses on security. But I bring this up because he said, we're not going to the moon because it's easy. We're going because it's hard. And that sounds simple, he's the president, but that was a call, a war cry, a mantra to say for generations, we are going to come together as a nation and do something hard. But I brought in here, he brings up George Mallory that says, why do you go to Mount Everest? Because I had a coworker go climb a mountain in Africa, and I was like, honey, come home safe, come home whole, and I have work for you when you get back. And I literally was trying not to be, the one being like, did y'all check in with him? Did he come home? Is he okay? He had to fill out a form to go to Africa because we work for the US government. But he came back and he was excited. He was elated. He was energized. I am not going to climb a mountain. I don't like climbing stairs too much either. But I did that. I did 6 miles in one day with my kids. We went to Great Wolf Lodge. 6 miles of stairs. I felt like I had climbed a mountain. But my mission was to entertain my children, to spend time with them. But for us, our missions are much more dear and enduring. So he said it's because it's there. And that seems kind of nonsensical, because it's there. Well, hell, we know the moon, everybody can see the moon. We know Mount Everest, everybody can see that. We know that protecting our nation is important, but sometimes it's a cultural call. And yesterday they were talking about Harry Potter, and if I said our company had a spirit animal, which I did try to get this established, I would say it's a phoenix, because it represents the things that that book illustrates. If you haven't read it, a phoenix is loyal, a phoenix is fierce, a phoenix is a servant leader. And for me, it wasn't, and I was actually listening to the book on the 6-hour drive over here. I swear I didn't plan that. My kids are reading it again. I love the stories. But the scene in the movie and the film that they illustrate is that the phoenix brings the sword of Gryffindor to Harry Potter. The phoenix doesn't save the day. The phoenix is a servant leader that facilitated the tools that saved the day. And then he came back and he healed him. So he was there as a teammate, a comrade, a champion. And then he solidified to Harry that he chose this role, that he had a choice. So today we have a choice. We have a choice in our day-to-day. I have a choice, with RFIs, and Amanda's a little frustrated with me on my team because we have one due today at 11. And I had shifting priorities, and so I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not ready. We've got the majority of the information. It's not perfect, but let's just get it done. But, we have to make those choices. So I'm trying not to, she's going to warn me when I get on a tangent. So this formula that I want to highlight to you is simple. So identify your mission. The moon seems clear, but your mission may be, I'm manufacturing something. I need to bring my small business to big attention. And we saw avenues for that. The collaboration in this room the last few days has been beautiful. So we have the opportunity. There is nothing blocking you from getting your mission out. The discipline, so the rocket, the illustration I had on my first slide. Building that technology is hard, it's complicated, but we all recognize it, okay? But the fuel, you can build it, you can make sure it's tested, it's safe, it's compliant, but how do you get it off the ground? How do you make sure it succeeds? How do you make sure it lands? So that is choice, will, and intention. So that's the human element. So with this, I kind of have an illustration of my desk. And so I did bring evidence, if y'all want to come by, that these things are not just plants, because this is the room that has that type of nature. These are literally things on my desk, at my desk, around me, at my fingertips. So I have a book called Choose Your Wow, Choose Your Way of Working. Find your wow. Find your team's way of working. Never quit the lunar quest. It's a resilience statement. It says keep going, keep trying, keep iterating, keep designing things to test to fail, so one day you build something on the moon. Failure is not an option. I'm a mom of a special needs child. I have 3 young children. That means more to me than I can express. But it is something for all of us. Our mission has to be something we choose to not postpone. We choose to not let fail. It's a choice. It's not technology, it's not budgets, it's not procurement vehicles, it is a choice. And so identifying what's that choice to you, what's it worth to your business, is hugely important. And then finally, the moon is hard. We get that, like how do we get there? If we didn't organize people, process, tooling, we didn't spend a lot of money, some countries, collaboration, we wouldn't be there, we wouldn't be going back. But there's no reason to make it harder. Collaborate, communicate. Sit down and do the fuzzy, fluffy stuff. Sometimes find a mantra, find a mission statement, find a mascot, build a badge, make a t-shirt. Those things help you connect the human experience to what you're doing. So this is it. This is kind of silly, so don't screenshot this and get me later on Facebook. Because somebody was like, spicy? You want to use that word? And I'm like, look, I am Cajun. I am French. We do everything with layers of heat, complexity, flavor. If you've ever heard about New Orleans or their food, there's nothing in our day-to-day that doesn't have flavor, that doesn't have culture. So it's not to say that I'm inappropriate. I'm here to say that I bring culture. I highlight the servant leader. Never show up empty-handed in the South, ever. You bring something, you contribute. So my work X factor, art and science. I have a Bachelor of Science, but I've spent a career researching, threading the human nature, and learning how to use systems of work that are complicated and making it easy. I am very good at that, but I am not the one building the server it's hosted on. I have a team that is very good at that. So I know my limits, but I know my mission and my X factor. Beauty in the chaos. So the Phoenix illustration, Perry thought he died, he thought he killed it, and it was reborn from the ashes. So if it's a personal struggle, if it's a work struggle, if it's that budget or that procurement deadline, or if it's a national crisis, there is beauty in the ashes, in the chaos. But I say look forward to it. Find the innovation, because my next thing, I have a dumpster fire, and this is actually a prize for the first person that comes to me later and tells me their favorite mantra. It's brand new. Walgreens is no longer selling it, apparently, so it's worth $20, so I have to disclose that. It is worth $20. I paid $2. Look forward to the dumpster fires, because they're contained, they're controllable, they're repeatable sometimes. You can see them coming. You can use it to innovate. And it is heat and pressure and containment that breeds innovation. So security and compliance at CMMC, been there. I know all 110 of those things. I have done poems for days. I have a lot of gray hairs because of it. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's worth it. There are organizations here today that can help you do that. And then for me, again, this quote isn't mine, or I don't know if it's copyrighted, I just came out of my head. The true test of success is not whether something works when you're present, it's whether it thrives when you're not. So is your mission going to outlive you? Is it going to outlive your stakeholders? Is it going to outlive the original champion? Because we know, history says John F. Kennedy didn't see the benefit of his call, of his mantra, for the impact that he had on history. And Jester said yesterday, those wonderful people didn't get to see the benefit of their living their why, to give their lives. Sorry. It's important. So is this paper, is this task, is this thing, it might not be saving the world today, but it's contributing to getting people there. So make sure it's something that's going to survive you. So for us, I'm going to say mission is direction. Get it clear. Services is execution. What are you doing? What are you offering? How are you going to get it there? How are you going to build that rocket? Connection and adoption. So the fuel. How do you connect with the right teams? How do you connect with the right people? How do you prepare for failure? How do you prepare for shifting in budgets and technology and national crisis? We have to scale. We have to scale very likely at a pace that we haven't seen before. We are ready. We saw the warning signs. We are in this room today because of it. And so that's going to give you sustainable innovation. So this is to show proof that I'm not making this stuff up. I literally have it at my desk. My favorite thing is a dumpster fire from a migration we had. We got bought out by a foreign company. So FOCA, I've got all that. I know all the separations. I know all the limitations of going from a small business to a large business and having to go through those procurement hurdles. So my favorite thing is our migration dumpster fire. It wasn't a disaster. It wasn't a failure. It was a rounding success. But keep and prepare for those dumpster fires. Find your way of working for your team. Never quit your quest. Define resilience. Define that definition of what is success iteratively. What are we going to do today, tomorrow, and later? And failure is not an option. If this is important, you want to put budgets behind it, you want it to outlive you, make it important, make it lasting. And then find something fun. That's my little card. So thank you for that. I've got 2 other slides to say, we work with other people, other clients, just to kind of give you a little taste. Come to our booth, come talk to us. I know I went over my time probably. Okay, are there any questions? Sorry, that was a lot. Okay, thank you.